5 seconds. That was all Jorge Masvidal needed to turn months of Ben Askren's confidence into the fastest knockout in UFC history. James Vick called Justin Gaethje the Homer Simpson of MMA.
I'm not the Homer Simpson of MMA like you are, bro. I'm not going to take a beating, but you will get knocked the f out. You take 10 significant strikes per minute. That's 50 shots a round. You ain't lasting 3 rounds of me taking all that beating like that.
87 seconds later, he was unconscious.
Kill this man.
Win by KO?
KO, out on a stretcher.
And after Conor McGregor promised Dustin Poirier would leave the octagon on a stretcher, it was McGregor whose leg collapsed beneath him. Confidence is essential in fighting. Nobody enters a cage expecting to lose. But there is a point where confidence becomes blindness, where a fighter stops respecting the danger in front of him and begins acting as though the result has already been decided. These are 10 of the most spectacular examples, ranked by the size of the claim, how decisively the fight contradicted it, and how much the defeat changed the way the MMA world saw that fighter. Number 10. Michael Johnson versus Justin Gaethje. When Justin Gaethje entered the UFC in 2017, nobody knew how his style would translate. He was undefeated and violent, but his willingness to absorb damage made people question whether he could survive against elite lightweights. Michael Johnson had already faced Dustin Poirier, Nate Diaz, Edson Barboza, and Khabib Nurmagomedov. To him, Gaethje was an untested newcomer. Early on, Johnson appeared to be right. His speed gave the Gaethje problems and he hurt him badly. Johnson misunderstood what made Gaethje dangerous. Gaethje was not successful because nobody could hurt him. He was successful because hurting him rarely made him retreat. He attacked Johnson's legs, forced him backwards, and turned a technical fight into a test of endurance. By the second round, Johnson was exhausted. Gaethje trapped him against the fence and forced the stoppage with 12 seconds remaining. Johnson thought Gaethje was about to discover another level of competition. Instead, the UFC discovered exactly what kind of fighter it had signed. Number 9. A year later, James Vick reached a similar conclusion. He was tall, technically polished, and riding a 4-fight winning streak. He believed his height and straight punches would make Gaethje's pressure easy to punish. At a press event, Vick reduced Gaethje's style to one insult. The weakness he identified was real.
I'm not the Homer Simpson of MMA like you are, bro. I'm not going to take a beating, but you will get knocked the f out. You take 10 significant strikes per minute. That's 50 shots a round. You ain't lasting 3 rounds of me.
Gaethje entered the fight after consecutive knockout losses to Eddie Alvarez and Dustin Poirier. But Vick confused a defensive flaw with an absence of skill. Gaethje pressured opponents towards the fence, attacked their legs, and created openings for his right hand. Vick discovered that almost immediately. Gaethje forced him towards the outside of the cage and launched the overhand as Vick tried to circle away. The fight was over in 87 seconds. Vick would lose his next 4 fights, 3 by knockout. Underestimating Gaethje did not single-handedly destroy his career, but it produced the moment when everything began to fall apart. Number 8. Colby Covington versus Leon Edwards. James Vick's mistake was technical. Colby Covington's was psychological. Ahead of UFC 296, Covington attacked Leon Edwards personally and promised a pace the champion could not survive. At the final press conference, he brought up Edwards' father, who had been murdered when Leon was 13.
Literally, you're so fucking stupid. On Saturday night, I'm gonna bring you to a place you never want to be. I'm gonna bring you to 7th layer hell.
Okay.
No, I'm bringing you to 7th layer hell. We'll say what's up to your dad while we're there.
Oh!
The comment changed the atmosphere immediately, and even Dana White admitted the remark had bothered people. Covington had spent years trying to make opponents emotional, but when the cage door closed, Edwards was not the fighter who lost control. Covington was strangely hesitant. The pressure, takedown volume, and pace he had promised were largely absent. Edwards controlled the distance with kicks, changed stances, and forced Covington to reset before he could build a fence. All 3 judges scored the fight 49-46 for Edwards. Covington had promised to drag the champion into hell. Instead, he spent 5 rounds struggling to close the distance. Number 7. Eddie Alvarez versus Conor McGregor. By the time Eddie Alvarez fought Conor McGregor at UFC 205, he had already won championships around the world and survived almost every kind of fight. That experience gave him a rational reason to believe he could expose McGregor. Alvarez had the wrestling, pressure, and durability to test the Irishman at lightweight. The mistake was believing McGregor was easier to understand than he really was.
You ain't got a shot. Your coach knows you ain't got a shot. And anybody who knows anything about fighting knows you ain't got a shot. You're here because you're the easiest dude in this division. That's why you're here. He's not a championship fighter. He's never been. Come November 12th, you guys will see.
Who's getting better here in this round, though? Oh, man.
Conor McGregor controlled the range, drew out Alvarez's right hand, and repeatedly landed the left counter as Alvarez entered. The first knockdown came less than 2 minutes into the fight. Then came another. In the second round, McGregor landed a 4-punch combination that ended the fight at 3:04. Alvarez entered Madison Square Garden as lightweight champion. He left after one of the most one-sided title defeats in UFC history. His experience was real. It simply could not solve the problem in front of him.
Speed and timing were very good. You could tell, he's got years of boxing behind him. He did a phenomenal job, and he continues to do a good job for the sport of MMA.
Number 6. Israel Adesanya versus Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa's confidence was visible long before he entered the cage. He was undefeated, physically imposing, and convinced Israel Adesanya could not handle sustained pressure.
Adesanya is the most shameful champion I have seen ever. I will hit him very badly and he will cry like a baby. I will destroy him. I will hit him so badly. I can kill that guy. He's very skinny. He not have a chance against me.
That belief was not unreasonable. Costa had overwhelmed almost everyone he had faced, while Adesanya had looked cautious in his previous title defense against Yoel Romero. But the prediction depended on one thing. Costa had to force Adesanya backwards. He never did. Adesanya controlled the distance with feints and low kicks. Costa stayed at the end of his range, reacting to movements that were not always attacks and failing to create the pressure that had defined his rise. By the second round, Adesanya was no longer simply controlling him. He was experimenting. He switched targets, attacked the head, and finished Costa at 3:59 of round 2. Costa had promised to walk the champion down. Instead, the man who had promised pressure spent the fight waiting. Number 5. Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz. In early 2016, Conor McGregor appeared almost untouchable. He had knocked out Jose Aldo in 13 seconds and become the biggest star in the sport. When Rafael dos Anjos withdrew from their scheduled fight, Nate Diaz stepped in on short notice. McGregor treated Diaz as a replacement rather than a threat.
I'm going to toy with the young boy. I'm going to play with him. His entries and his exits, his retreats, his feints, his patterns are all identical. He can't break out of his set routine, so he is very, very predictable. There's been no adjustment of any kind. It's simply going in as I am.
The only approach I changed is I dug the grave a little bit wider, a little bit longer for Nate's skinny, fat, long body. I'm going to slap the head off him. It's business as usual. You're just praying you can survive.
Early on, that confidence appeared justified. He landed hard left hands, opened cuts, and repeatedly beat Diaz to the target. But McGregor fought as though Diaz would react like a featherweight. He loaded up on power shots, chased the finish, and spent enormous energy hurting a fighter who refused to break. Midway through the second round, a straight left from Diaz snapped McGregor's head backwards. Suddenly, McGregor was retreating. Diaz increased the volume, trapped him near the fence, and forced him to shoot for a takedown. Against one of the most dangerous submission fighters in the division, exhaustion had pushed McGregor directly into Diaz's strongest area. Diaz took the back and secured the rear naked choke.
Stings real bad about this fight business. He was very efficient and he took shots well.
McGregor returned 5 months later and won the rematch, but the aura of inevitability was gone. For the first time in the UFC, somebody had survived his best work, watched him tire, and forced him to surrender. Number 4. Dominick Cruz versus Cody Garbrandt. Dominick Cruz had built his career around making elite fighters look ordinary. His movement was difficult to read, his timing was unconventional, and his ability to adjust had made him one of the smartest champions in UFC history. Cody Garbrandt was undefeated and dangerous, but he had never fought beyond 3 rounds and lacked Cruz's championship experience. Cruz repeatedly questioned Garbrandt's intelligence during the promotion.
And show him why he's nowhere near the level he thinks he is.
Sorry, man. I'm gonna have to embarrass you in front of a lot of people, so you can keep trying, but you're not ready.
Cruz was used to opponents reacting to his feints. Garbrandt forced him to initiate. When Cruz entered, Garbrandt's hand speed changed the exchanges. He countered the champion, avoided attacks with exaggerated slips, and repeatedly caught him as he tried to exit. By the later rounds, Garbrandt was smiling and dancing while Cruz was being drawn into increasingly aggressive exchanges. Garbrandt dropped him multiple times and won a unanimous decision. Cruz did not lose because he was confident. He lost because Garbrandt's team understood the system better than almost anyone before them. But the contrast was impossible to ignore. The fighter Cruz had treated as mentally inferior remained disciplined, while the man known for making opponents miss became the one swinging at empty space.
Loss is part of life. If you don't have loss, you don't grow. This isn't tough, this is life. All I can say is I lost, and I'll take my loss like a man.
Number 3.
The rivalry between Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier had already moved through several forms. McGregor had stopped Poirier in 2014. More than 6 years later, Poirier won the rematch by attacking McGregor's leg and finishing him with strikes. By the trilogy fight, the respect was gone. McGregor dismissed the technical reasons for the defeat.
It was a fluke win, and I'm gonna correct it on Saturday night. He's getting walked around that octagon like a dog and put to sleep.
Targeted Poirier personally and promised a violent ending. During the final face-off, he said Poirier would leave on a stretcher. But the tactical problems from the rematch had not disappeared. Poirier remained composed, reversed position in the clinch, took McGregor down and controlled him from the top. In the final minute, McGregor returned to his feet and stepped backwards. His lower leg folded beneath him. A broken leg is not proof of cosmic justice, and an injury should never be celebrated as something a fighter deserved. But the dramatic irony was unavoidable. McGregor had promised Poirier would leave on a stretcher. Minutes later, McGregor was the one unable to stand. Number 2. Luke Rockhold versus Michael Bisping 2. Luke Rockhold had already dominated and submitted Michael Bisping before going on to win the middleweight championship. So when Bisping accepted their rematch on short notice, Rockhold treated him less like a genuine challenger and more like an inconvenience. Their press conference became a non-stop argument, with the champion dismissing Bisping's chances and speaking as though another decisive victory was inevitable.
And that's what I do. I know what I'm gonna do. I know that I'm better than this.
Sounds like
I
the
know
worst
that I'm gonna knock him
self-help
out.
by the way. Okay, this is your first defense. You're gonna lose the belt.
And
Just
watch
get
the
used
difference.
to it.
Watch the difference. What happens?
All right, cool.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'll separate myself in the back. I'll show
bro,
you
everybody
and the
here
world
knows
that I'm that much
won
better
the
than
first
you
fight.
and
Hey,
Anderson.
everybody,
You're just an average
finish it.
bloke. You're just an average bloke.
Good use of English
I'm a
terminology.
fucking samurai. I'm gonna come in there silent,
what the fuck is
undetected,
this?
and I'm gonna knock you out. I'm gonna make my kill, and I'm gonna fucking be out.
You're making a
I'll be
fool
out
of
on the
yourself.
next contract. Watch me.
All right, buddy. All right.
But inside the cage, Rockhold fought with his hands low, retreated with his chin exposed, and appeared convinced Bisping lacked the power to punish him. Bisping stepped forward with a left hook, caught him again as he tried to recover, and finished the fight at 3:36 of the first round. Rockhold had spent the build-up treating the rematch like a formality. Instead, the short-notice challenger knocked him out and took his championship.
I just didn't see it happen, and I took him for granted.
When you say you didn't see it happening, do you feel that you came into this fight overconfident?
A bit, yeah. I could have capitalized and fought my fight, rather than playing around with him.
And our number 1. Ben Askren's confidence was not based on fantasy. He had been an undefeated champion in 2 major organizations, an Olympic wrestler, and one of the most accomplished grapplers ever to enter the UFC. His entire career had reinforced the same belief. Opponents knew what he wanted to do, and they still could not stop him. Against Jorge Masvidal, Askren treated the matchup like another predictable test. Askren believed the fight would eventually become wrestling.
Beat him any way I want. How do you think? I dominate him the whole time. I will do whatever I want to this person. I will dominate them. I will humiliate them.
And often lowered his level when opponents rushed towards him. So Masvidal rehearsed an opening built around that response. Askren's mistake was not merely talking too much. It was trusting his wrestling so completely that his opening response had become predictable. Masvidal did not need to stop the takedown. He intercepted the moment before it could happen. Askren entered undefeated. After losing to Masvidal, he fought only once more in MMA before retiring. For Masvidal, the knockout launched the biggest period of his career. For Askren, it turned years of confidence into a 5-second image he could never escape. And that is what makes overconfidence so dangerous in fighting. It usually begins with something real: championship experience, knockout power, superior wrestling, or a style that has worked for years. 10 fights, 10 reminders that confidence can help a fighter enter the cage, but it cannot protect him from what is waiting inside it. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe to our channel for more long-form stories from UFC history. Thanks for watching, and until next time.